Hello, once again, senior high school students. Here is the second lesson of your specialized subject, Philippine Politics and Governance. First, let's have a quick recap of the lesson 1. I'll give you 5 seconds in each question. Are you ready? The term from the Greek word polis, which means city-state, a small independent, self-contained political society is called, yes, it's politics. Next, based on its etymology, it refers to the manner of steering or governing or of directing or controlling a group of people or a state. Correct. Governance. And the third one, it is the exercise of control or authority over a group of people. Very good. Government. Who got all three correct answers? Keep up the good work. According to Rene Descartes, a state is better governed which has but few laws, and those laws strictly observed. Are you familiar with the spaces? We will be talking about the political ideologies that countries around the world adopt in their political system and governance. Our objectives and guide questions. At the end of the lesson, the learners be able to identify the basic tenets and differentiate major political ideologies, determine the relationship between political ideologies and configurations of political communities, enumerate ideas that have a direct impact on a political community, and explain how political ideologies affect the social and the political life of Filipinos. What is political ideology? What are the major political ideologies? What are the importance of political ideologies in our life? Now let's start with some important terminologies. First, the word ideology. When we say ideology, it is a system of ideas, especially one which forms the basis of economic or political theory and policy. It is a set of beliefs or principles, especially one on which a political party system, party, or organization is based. It is also a set of shared beliefs within a group, such as nation or class. This body of beliefs influence the way individuals think, act, and view the world. Don't you know that Antoine Louis Claude Descartes de Tracy coined the word ideology? According to him, it is the analysis of ideas into the sensory elements of which he believed them to be composed. Training in this new science would replace classical logic, and he maintained if a man learned how to analyze his ideas, he would then discover which of them were founded on experience and which were groundless. And when we say political ideology, it is a set of ethical ideas that explains how society should work, that offers political and cultural blueprint for social order focusing on the type of government and economy. Also, it talks about beliefs, values and opinions exhibiting a recurring pattern and provides a plan of action for public policy making in an attempt to justify, explain, and change the social and political arrangements and processes of a political community. Political ideology is also as guiding principles of a society. Political ideology has its characteristics. It offers an account of the existing order, often in the form of worldview. It provides a model of desired future, a vision of good society. It outlines how political change can and should be brought about. Political ideology concerns with these issues in our society, like healthcare, justice system, labor and criminal law, race, immigration, military, economy, and education. As we conclude the characteristics of political ideology, if this idea would work or doesn't work in the society, the concept leads to political spectrum. When we say political spectrum, it refers to the range of political positions or opinions that exist from the progressive left wing to the conservative right wing. Today, the term left wing and right wing are used as symbolic labels for liberals and conservatives, but they were originally coined references in the physical seating arrangements in the National Assembly of the French Revolution as its lasting legacy up to present. It was supporters of King Louis XVI who sit on his left and right sides. Now let's move forward to the major political ideologies. According to Haywood, all people are political thinkers. Hmm, do you agree? Can you guess to what ideology it symbolizes? Did you recognize it? Yes, it is of communism. Communism, also known as revolutionary proletarian socialism or Marxism, both political and economic philosophy. Karl Marx and his follower Friedrich Engels authored books. One is the Communist Manifesto, and the other one is Das Kapital. According to Marx and Engels, a person's view of the world depends on its class membership. Socialism among people now determines the limit and extent of a person's worldview, and members of each class should act and think according to their class membership, and that's social constructions of reality. Furthermore, according to Marx, material production or economic relationships are basic to all life. People must produce goods before they can do anything. They must produce themselves. However, they cannot even do that unless they are capable of feeding themselves. There are 10 important planks in the Communist Manifesto of Karl Marx: abolition of private property, heavy progressive income tax, abolition of rights of inheritance, confiscation of property rights, central bank, government ownership of communication and transportation, government ownership of factories and agriculture, government control of labor, corporate farms and regional planning, government control of education. And there are two main goals: to focus on the struggle and motivate the common people to riot, to envision a model government whose economics would destroy the upper class, freeing the lower class from tyranny. How about this one? What ideology it signifies? A wild guess? Yes, it's from socialism. Socialism refers to a broad set of economic theories of social organization advocating public or state ownership and administration of the means of production and distribution of goods, and a society characterized by equal opportunities for all individuals with a fair or egalitarian method of compensation. Socialism existed as a result of communism. Society, not individuals, should own the property. Common ownership would mean that all should be given the opportunity to participate on how resources should be used, and thus nobody should solely take control of the resources. Further, this means that the right to participate in the social decisions that affect them, that is, production of goods and services. The sole object of the production would be to meet human needs. This would mean that nobody will sell, buy, and have money. The government should plan the economy. There's no free market, so that all citizens will have roughly the same level of prosperity. Former President of Venezuela mentioned three elementary triangle of socialism. One is social ownership of the means of production. Two, social production organized by workers. And three, satisfaction of communal needs and purposes. And what comes to your mind when you see this statue? Yes, it represents a liberalism ideology. Liberalism, a political or social philosophy advocating the freedom of the individual, parliamentary systems of government, non-violent modification of political, social, or economic institutions to assure unrestricted development in all spheres of human endeavor and of governmental guarantees of individual rights and civil liberties. It originated from the writings of John Locke, who developed the arguments for consent, majority rule of rights, particularly property rights. According to the 35th President of the United States of America, if by a liberal they mean someone who looks ahead and not behind, someone who welcomes new ideas without rigid reactions, someone who cares the welfare of the people, someone who believes that we can break through the stalemate and suspicious grip us in our policies abroad, if it is what they mean by a liberal, then I'm proud to say that I'm a liberal. Liberalism emphasizes a tendency to favor change. People should keep trying to improve human society. Change is brought about by the conscious action of men and women. Liberalism believes that people should be willing to use the government to improve their conditions. Some people must help to live better lives in liberalism and fulfill their individual freedom. Liberals prefer individual freedom but are ambivalent about economic freedom. Most problems are derived from impersonal, social, and economic forces acting on humanity. The role of the government must be limited, that it cannot invade rights and freedom of individuals. According to one quote, human beings commit mistakes, but committing mistake is better than suppression of error. Who among you do not forget their past? Because this political ideology, conservatism, preserves what was good in the past. Edmund Burke, founder of modern conservatism, authored reflections on the French Revolution, in which he said that society is a complex web of relationships among the past, present, and future. Conservatism emphasizes that change is not good. Something that has worked, even if not very well, is better than something untried and unknown. Tradition is important. No human reasons can undo it. Conservatives do not reject human reason completely, but they would rather trust tradition because they believe that tradition contains the accumulated wisdom of past generations. The world changes and so does the conservatives. They do not want to conserve all the past. They want to conserve what they believe is the best of the past. Conservatives believe that human reason a device solution to human problems. We have here another quote about freedom is necessary, but too much freedom is bad for the society. And this very familiar hand symbol and famous mustache, I think it will definitely blink your senses. Fascism. According to Benito Mussolini, an Italian World War veteran who founded the Fascist Party. Fascism's basic assumption is that humans are not rational beings, thus they can only be led and manipulated. Nations and races have to compete to survive. An ideal fascist sees himself as part of a nation and never a separate entity. The carrier of the culture and spirit of the nation are the past, present, and future. It represents the eminent conscience of the nation and it educates the citizens in all the virtues. Further, he added that the individual is the nation and the success of the nation lies in his continuous obedience to the state. The nation is embodied in the state and therefore the state must be glorified. And how about this feast? Yes, it's all about feminism. This political ideology focuses on the position of women in the society and the roles they play. However, We also believe that improving the status of women will also benefit all human beings, whatever their gender is. According to the feminists, the political needs have to be redefined. In the family, for example, the men work outside the home for wages. If the man's wage is enough, the woman does not work. But if the man's wage is not enough to pay for the helpers, the woman has to work in the house without pay. If the woman works outside the home, she still has to do the housework. Furthermore, feminism argues that women should be given equal opportunity of socialization as the men. This means that if men can drive a car, women should drive a car as well. Alright, and for the learning exercises, you may get a piece of paper and share your thoughts and understandings about what we have discussed. See you in our next video lesson. Stay safe always.